Hi, you're about to invest quite a bit of time to go through this course and graduate. This is time spent watching the videos and then doing the various experiments and thinking about this new skill, set of new skills that you're going to acquire, and you'll be able to eventually use an oscilloscope in your projects. So I want to acknowledge that. Now with this lecture, I want to help you make the most out of this course by just trying to influence your mindset and get you in the correct mindset for going ahead to study the content of this course. And that's what this lecture is about. So let's begin with how to make the most out of this course. And of course, the objective here is to optimize your learning, because that's what it's all about. Now, this is very important. What this course is able to provide to you, that's what I worked for in designing this course, is a set of instructions and a set of experiments. And these are the tools that you will use to conduct your learning. What you will put into this equation is the practice. So you'll take the instructions, think of it as background knowledge, things that will help you understand what is going on. And then you'll use the experiments. The experiment is like the vehicle that will take you from where you are now to where you want to go. And where you want to go is to be able to use an oscilloscope. This is where we know that learning has been achieved. Now, what you need to put in there is the practice. That cannot happen without you. I heard somebody recently saying that you can't hire somebody to do push-ups for you if you want to get stronger arms. You actually have to do the push-ups yourself. That's where practice comes in. So, the course provides the instruments, the guidance, and you put in the practice, and these two together will help you achieve learning. In terms of organization, I kept the organization very, very simple, just 3 parts. In the first part, I provide some background knowledge. This is where you can just sit back and relax and watch the presentations there. And that will explain several concepts. For example, what is an oscilloscope, the different kinds of oscilloscopes, what's a signal, what kind of signals are there available, things of that sort. From part 2 onwards, you start to get your hands dirty. This is where you start actually practicing and making the effort there. In part 2, I'm going to show you the very basics of the operation of an oscilloscope. For example, how to calibrate your instrument for the first time, how to use the most important switches and knobs on its user interface, how to interpret the various things that you see appearing on the screen. So this is what I call getting comfortable. Again, this is supposed to be a fairly comfortable part of the course where you are still fairly relaxed. We're not really stretching your brain much at this point, but you are starting to get new knowledge accumulated, and you do need to make an effort there to replicate the experiments, or the very simple experiments that I'm showing in the videos. And then part 3, that's where the fun is. This is where you go through the beefy experiments that I've prepared for you. You use your own instrument based on the instructions that I provide in the experiment videos, replicate those experiments on your oscilloscope and learn from them hands-on. What I've got in this slide are just some guidelines on how to optimize your learning. And I find that these guidelines work not just in this specific course, but pretty much in everything that you can learn, with a few adaptations, of course. So remember that the oscilloscope is like a tool. You can compare that to a car or a bike. And what that means is that if you want to learn how to use this specific tool, or if you want to learn how to ride a bike or drive a car, you must use it. It's not something that you can learn from a video. I'm not sure if you've ever tried to learn how to fly a quadcopter, for example, from a video by observing how the instructor does it, but it really can't work unless you get your quadcopter, your drone, and take it out to a field to fly it. Exactly how we all learned how to ride a bicycle. You've got to do it. So this course will provide the guidance, but you will put in the practice. And to do that, you do need to have an oscilloscope. Now, which oscilloscope exactly you get, it doesn't really matter. Just get something that you can afford, something that offers the basic functionalities of an oscilloscope, and it doesn't need to be fancy. It doesn't need to be the fastest. Later in this course, in the second section, I've got information on oscilloscopes and the specific functions and capabilities that you'd be looking for before you make a purchasing decision. But you will need to invest in an oscilloscope so that you can practice the experiments in this course. Obviously, I've said that many times already, you need to run the course experiments yourself. This is the opportunity for you to make mistakes, figure out the mistakes, fix them, and move on with the next slightly more complicated experiment, one step at a time. Through these experiments and completing them yourself, you will achieve your goal, which is learning. Now, what happens once you complete each of these experiments and you reach the end of the course? Well, then what I recommend that you do is you design your own experiments. So look around the things that you've made, perhaps. Think about little tweaks that you can make to the course experiments, make some modifications. In a sense, design your own experiments and execute them. And once you get new learnings from running your own experiments, share the outcomes and the experiment itself, how you've designed it, with the world. You can do it, of course, in the course forum, or you can do it in your blog, or you can go to the Makers Club on Facebook and post your experiment there, share it with others. And that give and take process is another really great aspect of optimization for learning. All right, so I hope that all this makes sense. There's nothing left to do now than to begin learning.